Please be seated. Hello everyone, my name is Jordan Barr and I am the president of the Viroqua High School class of 2020. My fellow class officers include Vice President Kelsey Shaner, Secretary Shayton Borman, and Treasurer Brooks Eckert. If you all could please stand. On behalf of myself and my fellow classmates, I want to welcome you all to our graduation ceremony. It has been a long 14 years, and even though the last few months didn't play out the way we planned, we did it. We graduated high school and we should be proud of that. Today is our day to celebrate. The class of 2020 Salutatorian is Josephine Dobbs, daughter of Christine Dobbs. She has two brothers, Aaron and Ethan. She enjoys being active, whether it's biking, running, kayaking, or working out in the weight room. Her favorite classes were AP Psychology, English, and Anatomy and Physiology. She plans on attending the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire for nursing and continuing her education to become a midwife nurse. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020 Salutatorian, Ms. Josephine Dobbs.
I would like to start by thanking everyone for being here today. With everything currently happening, we were unsure if we would be able to attend our graduation. It is statements like this that made me think about the past, when we were in school counting down the days to walk across the stage in May. We had our senior year planned out with our last prom, honor ceremony, graduation, and all of the times when we could see all of our friends at school and be able to say goodbye to them as the days dwindle down to our last. Most of these plans have changed, yet we have adapted as a class, a school, and a community. Class of 2020, we did it. 6 years of elementary school, 4 years of middle school, and 4 years of high school. All of those years learning, growing, and creating memories together as a class. Not to mention, we made it through a pandemic, which we adapted to with online schooling, cancellation of spring sports, concerts, prom, and changes in our community. Today, with our memories brim of dances and pep rallies when we came together every year for skits and rallies, and the excitement of cheering each other on in various student sections. Some of my favorite memories of high school occurred during our senior year. One of these was during Cabin Fever Week when we had the 80s themed dress-up day, which was one of the dress-up days that our grade participated the most in. Thanks, Josh, for the background 80s music that was playing all day, and for Miss Avery for the dance moves that went along with it. Some of our class's favorite memories are nature walks with Miss Campbell, annual March Miss with Mr. Marshall, and seeing swans in the halls on his sub days. During the last semester, especially during these past couple months, we have had time to look back at these last 4 years. I realize, as I'm sure many of you have as well, just how fast the years go by. To look back at the memories, from stressing over our first homecoming, what should we wear, who should we go with, and other simplistic things when we were freshmen, to our senior year, when most of us have gained confidence and learned to relax and have fun. I know most of us are ready to move on to the next chapter of our lives, but let's use these couple of days to reminisce about the past and hard work we have done to get where we are today. This is an accomplishment and the moment we have been waiting for. The reason we stayed up late studying, finishing projects, and preparing for school events. All of the struggles of not understanding a concept or doing homework that you hated, this is the reward for sticking through it, graduation. I was asked among classmates if there was anything I would have done differently during my 4 years of high school. I ask this to all of you today, and not just graduates of 2020, but parents and underclassmen. What would you change? Some might say they wouldn't change anything, others would want to redo it completely. I think it's important to ask these questions, even as parents, to use as advice to pass on to graduates and current high school students. Graduates, whatever your answer is, if you wish you were more involved in sports, or more outgoing with friends, took more risks, or were more safe, take this next phase in your life to make the change by taking your own advice. Personally, I would have been more grateful for the experiences I had during sports, and I would have done a couple different classes as a freshman and sophomore. Here's a quote that seems to sum up how the 4 years of high school felt. Dream big, work hard, think for yourself. Love everything you love, everyone you love, with all your might. And to do so, please, with a sense of urgency. For every tick of the clock subtracts from fewer and fewer. David McCullough, Jr. It's fair to say that we all felt this urgency, and looking back at just how much we accomplished in those fleeting years, and how immensely important it is to do what makes you happy with your family and friends. I hope these words resonate with you and you're able to live by this quote throughout life. The sense of urgency just emphasizes how there's little time to waste in being yourself and to accomplish your dreams. I hope that these words were true for your high school experience, and if they were not, make them true and then continue to live by them throughout your life. Do not waste a moment and go accomplish your goals, even if those change. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Before I share my thoughts with the class of 2020, I would like to thank some individuals. Thank you to the teachers, paras, custodians, bus drivers, coaches, advisors, and food service workers for the role they have played in these seniors' lives every day. I especially want to give out a huge thank you to our office staff who have supported our seniors in countless ways over the last 4 years. Thank you to Mr. Anderson, Mrs. Deal, Mrs. Lear, and Mrs. Schneider for everything you do. Also today, thank you to Rick Maker for setting up the sound for today's event and Mr. Gabrielson for videotaping today's ceremonies. Thank you, Mr. Thu, for organizing and leading the quintet for the event, and the custodial staff for setting up the building's grounds. Thank you to President Angie Lawrence and all the members of the Board of Education who have served during the 2019-2020 school year, and also thank you to Dr. Arnson and the administrative team at Viroqua who have supported our soon-to-be graduates throughout the years. Senior class officers, you have done a wonderful job leading your class this year and have bright futures ahead. And finally, I'd like to thank the parents, guardians, grandparents, and family members that have played such a huge role in each of the lives of the students of the class of 2020. And students, if you haven't already, I would encourage you also over the next few days to thank your family members that have helped you become who you are. Many of you have achieved great levels of success during your high school careers, whether it be in athletics, fine arts, academics, or other areas. At this time, with the 11 Viroqua High School students who have earned highest honors, wearing the signifying honor cords, please stand and face the audience. You will notice both Jared and Josie also are sporting medals as recipients of the WIA Scholar Athletes for the year. So you may be seated. Those students that were standing achieved a cumulative grade point average of 3.6 or higher during their Viroqua High School career. Congratulations to all of you. Also, congratulations academically to the Laurel High School students and graduates who, despite a different grading system at Laurel, also achieved a great deal of excellence in education. Laurel graduates today are signified with the blue strands. Seniors, what a year! Who would have guessed that in the first half of March, due to world events, we would have heard Brooks welcome us for the final time as the school day began? I've missed that, and likely will continue to miss that. You see, graduates, world events are going to happen. but they don't need to define you. Don't get me wrong. Some people are going to remember the class of 2020 as the class that left the building in March and returned to get their diplomas in July. But this is nothing new for the class of 2020 or their families. This is the audience participation part. So by a show of hands in the audience, mothers, how many of you were pregnant during the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center? You see, everyone has moments in history that occurred during their lifetime. It just happened that a couple of them landed on monumental years in your life. My challenge for the class of 2020 is to not allow the world events to define you, but instead define yourself by what you do and how you treat people. You are going to have endless opportunities in the days and decades ahead to make a positive influence on this world. Some of you may influence people through communications. Some may become nurses or nurses' midwives. Some may become an early childhood teacher, or a secondary school teacher, or a therapist. And statistics show that about 90% of you will become parents. If you don't think as parents, you greatly influence your kids. Ask your mom or dad the first time they remember doing or saying something that wasn't good, and they knew it came from them. As a parent, it's probably one of the first times it becomes very real how much influence you have on your children, and whether it is positive or negative. You see, class of 2020, you don't need to be defined by what is happening in the world, but you can be defined by what you do to make the world a better place each and every day of your life. You get to choose every day how you treat others, and I hope you choose to treat them how you wanted to be treated, or even better. I will close this speech for the first time in my administrative career by quoting one of your classmates. Ole Nordskog, when asked his future plans, said he wanted to show respect to everyone I meet. Class of 2020, go forth and make a positive difference in the world each and every day. We are so proud of you and have done what you have done, and look forward to hearing in the future all the great things you will accomplish. Thank you. At this time, I have the honor of introducing the class of 2020 valedictorian, Jared Thomas Anderson, son of Joel and Catherine Anderson. He has 3 sisters, Rachel, Claire, and Jessica, and enjoys writing, filmmaking, acting, playing guitar and piano, hiking, and reading. His favorite classes were AP Calculus, AP US History, AP Language and Composition, Western Civilization, and Spanish 3. He plans on attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison in the fall, majoring in Business Management and Human Resources with a certificate in Communication Arts. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020 valedictorian, Mr. Jared Thomas Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the senior class, I'd like to thank all people who have made the experience at Viroqua area schools memorable. To the administration, for all the excellent organization, planning, and goals achieved, we thank you. To the general community, for the continuous support and love for education, we thank you. To the staff, for giving it your all every day to ensure that the events in our school are coordinated and that we feel supported, we thank you. To the maintenance department, who work tirelessly to ensure that our schools are safe and clean, we thank you. To all the teachers, whose effort often goes unnoticed and underappreciated, who, in the words of President Theodore Roosevelt, are often the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Additionally, I want to thank the teachers for being more than just teachers in our lives. Much of the faculty here has built strong relationships with their students, and it is an honor as a senior class to have played a part in your careers and your lives. We thank you. Finally, to each member of each family represented in the senior class, who have been there ever since the beginning, who have lifted us up at our worst and have been proud of us at our best. And more specifically, to our parents and guardians, who have nurtured us all the way up to this very day, and will continue to nurture us in many ways, sometimes unpredictable, in the rest of our lives. We thank you, and we love you. Today I stand before you as the class of 2020 Valedictorian. It is an honor to be in this position where I have the opportunity to give some final words to my fellow classmates before they take this transition in their lives. In light of some very transitory times, I know today is not really what you expected it to be. And I know you may feel underwhelmed in some ways, but I'll say something that may just give you a new perspective of it all. For all the people telling us that their memories of their senior year were robbed from us, I would like to ask them if their senior year consisted of, a worldwide pandemic, wildfires ravaging an entire continent, or riots taking down the biggest city in our neighboring state. Now, of course, all of those events are very negative, and they've changed everyday life for us, and not always in the most favorable ways. But I'm willing to bet that new, unique memories were made for all of us. Whether good or bad, or somewhat in between, there is a possibility that they may have taught us more valuable life lessons than what we would have learned in the final quarter of high school. One of my favorite quotes of all time by the author G. Michael Hoff states, "Hard times create strong men. Strong men create hard times. Or strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times." We were raised in relatively good times, and in these good times, we got to experience what they call a childhood. It is poetic in the fact that as we officially become adults, ready to enter the world, we are faced with hard times. For those of us wanting to make a difference in the world, they might even call it convenient. I learned a lot from my 12 years at Viroqua area schools, and I have many memories in every single year I was there. Viroqua's school system provided events from survivor camp in the middle of nowhere to a week-long trip to Washington, D.C. and New York City. The school even included nature walks from time to time on days that we decided we weren't going to learn. Our class was never the biggest nor the boldest, but that does not take away from the things we did learn here. In my personal opinion, learning is built on experience, and I truly think we've been put through the ringer with what we have grown up in. However, there will be more challenges that we will face in the course of our lives, and hopefully, we will always learn something from them. Class of 2020, as I stand before you today, please look back on your experiences in your life with intrigue. Look how they've molded you to the person you are now. Take time thinking about what you can learn from them, and always have an open mind about your past. Your perspective on it will change from good times to hard times. Consequently, you should not be afraid to change. You should not be afraid of times that change. In a simpler sense, do not be afraid to speak when you feel you are being silenced. Do not be afraid to do what you feel is the right thing. Do not be afraid to stand up for someone you don't always talk to, or you don't really know all that well. Do not be afraid of trying something for the first time. There's no doubt it'll be difficult. You'll feel vulnerable and misplaced. But remember, changes happen in life. Someday when you look back at whatever it may be, and is kicking you in the butt right now, you may see it in an entirely new lens and truly appreciate what the experience did for you in the long run. All in all, be thankful for the natural tides in life. To the class of 2020, thank you for listening to my speech. While I know what I say here may not have the greatest impact on you, as we are all different, I just want to personally congratulate each and every single one of you for achieving this milestone in your life. Thanks for everything, both the ups and the downs. You have truly assisted in my development as a person. To Viroqua area schools, so long. It's been one hell of a ride. Thank you.
Viroqua area community, it is an honor to present to you the Viroqua graduating class of 2020. Jonah Edward Apt. Brandy Alexis Aid. Jared Thomas Anderson. Jordan Teresa Barr. Isaac Allen Berg. Andrew James Baumkamp. Chayton Drake Foreman. Skylar Joe Breeze. Harrison Randy Burkhart. Brianna Marie Harmon. Austin Lee Christensen. Emmett Aaron Clements. Callista Ann Conrad. Jacob Antonio Curdy. Marissa Lynn Zapp. Sandra Josephine Daleen. Josephine Marie Dobbs. Lisa Angela Dubé. Cullen David Joseph Eckert. Brooks Raymond Eckern. Jacob Allen Ellefson. Eliza June Falkers. Maxwell Warren Fireball. Drew William Courtney. Caitlin Marina Fox. Zachary Aaron Fox. Logan John Roysa. Joshua Lawrence Fry. Sadella Anne-Marie Hagedorn. Mitchell Lane Hansen. Lloyd Dalton Hardy. Angie Christina Harmon. Alex Charles Jacobson. Eleanor Grace Payne. Stephanie Marie Harris. Dylan Moon Khatib. Penguin Johannes Boone. Holden James Kaiser. Ayla Elizabeth Lemire. Zachary Thomas Keith Orr. Allie Elizabeth Long. Landon John Lucy. Tara Lene Madison. Cole Robert Mayberry. Paul Maxwell Nicolati. Leah Suzanne Ostrom. Stephen Kyle Peterson. Caleb Allen Richard. Olivia K. Rotman. Abigail Marie Severson. Kelsey Marie Shaner. Carter John Simonson. Anna Brooke Stamm. Presley Ann Stillwell. Dawson Benjamin Swenson. Celeste Rose Tallhammer. Madison Danielle Tosca. Ryan Alexander Zemla. Americus Arlene Dilmer. Emma Ann Zimmerman. And Matthew Joseph Vitzman. At this time, I would ask that 2020 remain standing, and you may move your tassel from the right to the left, symbolizing the completion of your high school education. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the newest Viroqua graduates, the senior class of 2020. Graduates, you can raise your hands. Let them enjoy the moment.